Welcome to the DYNAMO Show. I am your host, James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for a brand called DYNAMO Entrepreneur. We empower experts to live well and do good in their communities and all around the world. Predominantly speakers, authors, internet marketers, coaches, all kinds of people that are lifting others up. And do we have one of them here today, Mr. Abbas?
James, pleasure having me.
It is an honor to have you on my show.
Thank you.
It's so great to connect, and I want to learn a little bit about your journey. Let's talk a little bit maybe the past. You know, I know we all go through different things in life to kind of get to where we are now.
Of course.
Maybe share some of those vulnerabilities.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Iraq, actually, in the Middle East.
Okay.
And throughout the years, I had the pleasure of traveling all around the world.
Yeah.
With my family, of course, sometimes by myself. But mainly, I get fortunate to live in Iraq, Jordan, Poland, and Dubai, and in Canada as well.
So you speak a lot of languages?
3 languages so far, yes.
Cool.
English being the 3rd language. That is, yes, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
That becomes challenging, but at the same time, fortunate experience to meet a lot of people throughout the years, of course. The challenging part is, where do you call home?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So, but I'm fortunate to call home Canada is my home. I'm a proud Canadian citizen.
Very good.
And live here and staying here for as long as I can.
I love it.
Yes.
Welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
That's awesome. What was your favorite country, would you say, so far outside of Canada?
Outside of Canada would be Iraq.
Okay.
I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you go back?
I got married there actually in 2012.
Oh, nice.
My childhood sweetheart, I've been trying to get married to her over the years. It took me about 15 years.
Okay.
We met in Dubai, we got married in Iraq,
Okay.
and then we lived a little bit in Poland and then came to Canada.
Very good.
So, yes,
Dubai's quite insane.
Quite the adventure, yes it is.
It's an adventure. I'm on my way there for the first time.
Oh, nice,
So
nice. You're going to
looking
enjoy
forward
it,
to that. Yeah. It's the mecca of technology.
It is, yes. It's very high tech, very fast speed. It's like downtown, but the whole city is like that.
Now, why were you traveling so much? Was it because your family was working in different regards?
The first travel was 1997 when we left Iraq. Is basically started with my parents seeing that what's the future for their kids. Now I have a brother and 2 sisters.
Okay.
So my family from my mom's side is all over Canada, US. So we got to make a choice where to go next. In Iraq, there was not bright future and still is unknown. It's a big question mark. So we picked Canada as one of the stop destination, final destination for us. And I'm really grateful for my parents to making that decision.
So they're here still?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Oh, great. Very cool. Very cool.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. So we had the chance between to pass by Poland for a few years until to get the citizenship and all of that to Canada. So, yeah.
Now, like high school, post-secondary school, which country were you in?
Different countries. So from Iraq to Poland to Canada is all around, basically, yes.
Okay.
Graduated 2 years, spent computer science in Poland, but mainly in Canada, computer programming, yes.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yes.
So then you moved more in towards business and currently what you're doing.
Yes, I was
talk a
actually
bit about the professional side of you.
Exactly, yes. I actually was born into a family of business. My parents, my father and my grandfather, my uncles, they're all business mind. They're all in a small business.
Okay.
My actual first business transaction ever, believe it or not, I was 12 years old.
12.
12 years old.
Wow.
I had to negotiate with my
years
mentor.
Ago.
Yes. I have to negotiate with my mentor and my uncle, late uncle, who passed away in 2013, a deal. At the beginning of the summer break is basically he's going to give me some cash for my business adventure, and we're going to share the profit at the end of the summer. Of course, him looking at me as a 12-year-old, he wouldn't expect much. He wouldn't expect the money to come back even.
Yeah.
But at the end of the summer, of course, he tried to negotiate 75-25% share. And I said, no, it's 50-50. He said, how come? It's my money. Without my money, you can't make it. I said, yeah, but I'm going to do the work, so it's 50-50. And I got him to agree to that. And from that started all the business journey in different fields, different professions, until now, where we landed at the HSS automation, which is basically smart homes. So you're connected nowadays, wherever you turn, everybody has a phone.
Isn't that true?
And everybody has a smartphone for that. So imagine having a full control of your home from an app on your phone. So it's safety, security, and automation part. So it's not only the safety, security, which
only in Canada, or is this now
in
global?
Canada? Yes,
okay,
because we work closely with ADT, and we are an authorized dealer as ADT. Yes.
Okay.
So it's basically the convenience.
And that's a Canadian company, correct?
It is Canadian and American. Yes, started in America.
Yeah.
125 years in Canada. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So it's imagine like you having full control not only for your fire protection, flood, and all of that, but your door locks, your lights, your garage door, all of that from an app on your phone 24/7.
Now let's say you're traveling, and is it one of those situations where you can actually see the house? Or
you can see it and control it at the same time.
And control
as long as you have connection to the internet, which nowadays is available everywhere. Yes.
Now it's interesting you say it's available everywhere, and most people have these smartphones around the world, but there still are like very many remote areas, poor areas around the world that don't have these types of technologies.
Exactly.
Do you see that changing in the future?
I see that changing now and in the future, because what's happening now, a lot of countries around the world, is people who don't have a home, but they do have a smartphone, which is interesting. Because they don't have a home, they live on the street, but they do have a smartphone to connect with the whole world, especially payment-wise, everything else. So yes, I see the world changing.
Which is great, because I mean, we can all be resourceful now, looking for the information that we need to pretty much do and start and learn anything.
Exactly. We're at the best age there is, basically. We have access to all information available around the world from the palm of our hands. The question is, how many of us use that information and have access to it and use it wisely, basically, to improve their lives?
So now that you have access to this, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Basically, my mission is, my big why, let's say, is what I'm moving is connecting world good, which is a little movement I started a few months back.
I love it.
Creating enlightenment for the three fundamental things. As throughout the years, as you know, like I went to all these countries, all these challenges that I had, is basically I realized that to break it down to the most fundamental level, which is basically the food we eat, the water we drink, and the thoughts we have. These are the three basic things who makes us who we are as human beings. And to focus and create enlightenment, create awareness about these three areas, basically. The more we are conscious about what we put in our body, that's who we become. And most importantly is our thoughts, because we're addicted to our thoughts, whether we are knowingly or unknowingly. This is the worst addiction to have.
So how are you going to go about educating people about those three?
It's basically by creating this movement of connecting world good and enlightening them that these are the things that can help you get from wherever you are now to where you want to be, just by focusing on that. So creating awareness in terms of just, like you said earlier, is we have access to everything online through a smartphone. So as long as you make them aware that these are the three fundamental areas, they can find the information themselves. Eventually, that's going to be on the website and all of that. Yes. Yeah.
And then it would be like a movement, So how does somebody get involved in this movement if they wanted to join?
Well, I do have a little website that we started, and there is a forum on that website where people can go in and check it and join the movement, that is. And I have people joining in actually from all across the world, which is pretty amazing. Yes.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about the thoughts for a second.
Yes.
Food and water, they kind of speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Maybe if you share with our audience a little bit of those wisdom nuggets around those thoughts. How do we stay in good thoughts?
Yes, it's basically a habit. We as a human being, we are developing a habit. What we do, what we live is moment to moment. We can never go back in the past, we can never go in the future. So all we have is right now. So my favorite quote is from Eckhart Tolle, realize deeply that the present moment is all you're gonna ever have. So make the now the primary focus of your life. So I follow people. What I advise is, I'm a big YouTuber. So I watch a lot of YouTubes and TED Talks. YouTubes, I focus on the areas of body, mind, spirit. Thoughts is the most important thing. So I follow people like Jim Rohn, like Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Sadhguru, to name a few, Eckhart Tolle. So it's these little reminders to recondition our brain actually to focus on the present moment. Because why we worried? We worry because we're thinking about something already happened that we cannot change anymore, or something that is about to happen and 80% of the time doesn't even happen. So we worry about nothing basically. As long as we are focused in the here and now, that is the most. And practice.
And that's important.
Practice. It's little habits at a time. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. And then putting one good thought to the next good thought to the next good thought.
Exactly. Like
it's going to become habitual too.
Exactly. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sam Abbas. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is the Dynamo Show. Please stay tuned, and we will be back right after this short commercial break. And welcome back to the Dynamo Show. I am your host, James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for Dynamo Entrepreneur. We are going to keep things rocking with Heather Edgington. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh, it's
Thank
so
you for
great
having
to have
me.
you. You're very, very welcome. Now, it's neat how we kind of connected because, you know, in the present moment, and I know you speak about all this stuff on stage, you know, and just jumping into that moment, you did that today. You know, Heather is actually one of our guests that replaced another guest today.
I did.
Final moment, but it was just so amazing how we actually connected and how much synergy we actually have right out of the gate.
Right.
Amazing.
Well, I got a phone call this morning. I was in the garden doing some stuff in the garden and t-shirt and shorts, and I got a phone call, would you like to take this lady's place on TV today? And I'm like, yeah, the universe sends you something like that. Damn, yeah, let's go.
I love it. And you know what, it really speaks a lot to, you know, building those dreams. You know, there's doors that open and opportunities that come and go in life. And you being a dream builder coach, you know, without taking those opportunities to build those dreams, you may never build them, right?
Well, I spend so much time teaching people about stepping past fear.
I love it.
And self-doubt.
And you did that today.
I did it today.
Yeah. Now, it hasn't always been this way. You know, let's talk a little bit about, you know, some of the things you've gone through. I know before the show we were talking a little bit about your past marriage, etc.
Yeah.
You know, maybe tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, I was born Canadian. I'm in Montreal, and then I had perfectly good jobs, owned a house in Canada, in Toronto, and then I got a chance for a 3-month contract in Texas, which I took.
Yeah.
And then I sort of never left for 27 years.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have a dream. I didn't have a focus. I didn't have a plan.
Okay.
And then I came back 5 years ago because my husband of many years announced the day before Valentine's Day that we were getting a divorce.
Wow.
He had to do that. So he was available to take his girlfriend out for Valentine's Day next day.
Oh no.
So it was a little hard. It was a little harsh. But now I'm here.
You are.
And I came back.
Building your dreams.
Building my dreams. Yes, I came back to Canada, and I had to move in with my mother, not to take care of her, but because I had no options. So I was depressed, old, fat, anxiety-ridden, and broke. And I started Googling on the computer joy and happiness and just trying to find something. And I Googled dream, and I found my mentor, Mary Morrissey, and I became a certified dream builder coach.
I love it.
I love it. I went to California, which was beyond my comfort zone.
Okay.
And became a coach. And
breaking through those fears.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now I love it. I just love what I do.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Well,
what is a Dream Builder coach to you?
A Dream Builder coach, I help people who are at a crossroads or afraid of taking the next big step or are feeling blocked. And I help them look at why that is and what they would love to be doing.
Okay.
And then we talk a lot about why the heck they're not doing what they would love to be doing, which is all
And I'm
those
sure
blockages.
it's most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've really helped some people change their lives, and it just makes me so happy when I get someone just saying, you know, my life has changed because of you. It's.
Do you ever have anyone that's like really down and out?
Really down and out? If they were really too down and out, I might tell them that I wasn't the person to help them.
At that stage,
At
they're not
that
ready
stage,
for coaching.
They're
yet.
not ready for coaching. They might need
Yeah.
more than I'm capable of teaching.
Yeah, well
But
said.
you know, I had a good friend of mine now who I was coaching her and her husband. I love coaching couples who are in business
cool.
together.
Okay.
Because it's a unique thing of doing, and I did it for 17 years.
In business together, or
In
both
business-
in business but married?
In business together and married.
Oh, I
It's
see,
very
okay.
hard to balance
Hello.
that.
Yeah. I know all about that one.
So, yeah, so my ex and I used my maiden name at work and my married name at house. And I would say sometimes, I know you are so sick of this Heather Edgington, but that nice Heather Kimmel is in the house and she'll get you a beer in a few minutes. And he's like, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing her. So we really tried hard to separate those things.
Separate them, yeah. It is important because sometimes, you know, when we're doing so much together, working together, playing together, eating, sleeping together, all that stuff, you see too much of each other.
Yeah.
So it's not overly exciting anymore.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And the work can grow over the whole relationship. You know, so I try and get people to, I assign people homework of, you know, I want you to go out to lunch once a week and not discuss work or the kids.
Date lunch.
Go have a date lunch.
That's awesome.
And they go, that's harder than it looks. And I said, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I told you to do it.
They're caught up in these habits.
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
habitual things that you know keep them in either the daily grind or the business grind or the problems they're having with the marriage or the kids, etc.
Yeah, and there's
How
the
do you
joy is
separate
gone. And you know,
that?
people talk about date nights and things, but
Yeah.
everybody doesn't do it. And when they go on date nights, they often talk about the kids.
That's right. That's right.
So
It's even better to get away from it, like 3 days, 4 days, take a little
very
mini,
much so,
mini
and
vacation.
really take a break and
somewhere
really
off
clear
the
your mind.
battlefield, you know, somewhere
Yes.
just, you know,
Yeah.
that you've maybe never been before. You know, try to take
and
a small
explore.
trip.
And you know, try and go back
Explore.
and remember.
Yeah.
Explore and try to go back to remembering what it was you loved about each other in the first place. Because
That's
people
right.
forget about that as well.
That's right.
So yeah, I do all those kinds of things with people. And you know, it's like fear. People are like, oh, I'm too afraid. It's like, well, if you're not afraid, you're not doing anything big enough.
That's right.
It's got to be huge.
That's it.
You know,
Yeah.
you want to have your own TV show.
Yeah.
You have to step past a little
I
bit
remember
fear
the
when
first
you
step.
start.
Yeah, that was scary, you know?
It is.
And then you look back and you're looking down the mountain and going, hey, it wasn't so bad. You know,
That's
what's the
right.
next mountain?
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly.
What's your next mountain?
Well, my next mountain will be that I came back to Canada. I'm close to my mother. But eventually, I never want to see snow again.
Okay.
Plan.
So you're not a skier?
I broke my leg in 3 places when I was a teenager. No, I don't
Okay.
do that anymore.
Okay.
But so I want to go and spend a winter in various places. I want to go to Thailand, Greece, Buenos Aires, all around the
over.
world, different place every time, and get to know the culture, see how maybe I can help people there to, you know, step up, do something with their lives while I enjoy it. I love discovering
Like a working vacation?
uninhabited beaches.
Oh.
I do not want crowded 5-star resort beaches.
No, eh?
So like I stayed in Koh Phuket in Thailand.
Okay.
In the 80s, I had a bamboo hut on the beach for $2 a night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there was not many people there. So it's harder and
Not
harder
many
to find,
footprints
but
in
I
the
like
sand.
finding those places.
Now, do you do any online dream coaching? Like when like, let's say you were away, because now
Right.
we have like access remotely.
As long as I have
You know?
Wi-Fi. Most of my clients around the GTA and Ontario, we do online.
So you're doing that anyways?
We do it anyway.
What about like facilitation of workshops or any like
Those I would
stage
have to organize to
type
come back here
events?
or do them somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I am a member of a group called Your Best Summit, and 6 of us work together with entrepreneurs or startup entrepreneurs to help them I start them off with, what do you really want your dream business to be? Really figure that out, because so many people don't know why they're starting a business. And then from there, we're able to figure out who's your ideal client, what's your branding image, what content do you want in your marketing, how to get your Facebook page up and running. So we do a complete package for them so that they can go with that. And so we do events and then we do coaching on that. And I am now planning a retreat with some women. We're going to go down to a fabulous castle-like place in Port Dover.
Okay.
That's like Downton Abbey look.
Okay.
So we're going to take a women's retreat,
Like a
down
retreat.
there for
Yeah,
a weekend.
very cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Very good.
I
Very
love
good.
doing, you know, things that get people more in touch, as you say. Get away, do something different.
Now, is there any big why? Like, is there any charities or philanthropic initiatives that you focus on?
No, I am doing work with people who have had to, are stuck in various places for various reasons. Women's shelters.
Okay.
Or kids, teenage kids,
Okay.
Downtown groups.
Yeah.
I'll go in and do events for them for free. I don't
that's
do
very
the
nice of
coaching
you.
as much, but I do that.
Yeah.
And because I remember when I ran the technical school so many years ago, how many of the young welfare mothers who were coming back trying to get a second chance.
That's right.
And
Well, that's very special.
yeah, it really was. It really made me aware that you could change somebody. You can make a small dent in the universe.
You can.
And it's an amazing
And you
thing
are.
if you just do it. Yeah.
We are. Heather Edgington, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you. I honor you.
Please stay tuned. We will be back right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to the Dynamo Show. I am your host, James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for Dynamo Entrepreneur. We support experts in living well and doing good around the world, predominantly speakers, authors, internet marketers, coaches, all kinds of really great people that are supporting lifting up others. And do we have one here with us today? Justin Molloy.
Hey, how are you, James?
Yeah, good to see you, my friend. I am so grateful to have you on the show. You know, I know we've just recently connected over this past year or so. However, we've built a really great friendship and we've done some really great things together, especially for kids.
We sure
and
have.
I want to talk about those kids in a little bit. But before we get into them, maybe we'll share a little bit about the journey. Kind of how did you get here, becoming this entrepreneur that you are,
Sure.
you know, on the way through the younger years?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I grew up in Scarborough. I was raised in Scarborough. I went to high school in Scarborough, and my father was born in Ireland, so I had
Okay.
an Irish connection. My mother was French Canadian,
Yeah.
and growing up in Scarborough, there was so much diversity, and it really gave me a lot of insight and perspectives into people.
Yeah.
And that being said, I took that with me, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I went
Like we all
down
do.
some bumpy roads, but at the end of the day, you know, I found the path that's best for me. So after completing some years of university and college, I also worked for small internet provider. I grew to a larger internet provider, and then into the technology space, selling multinational contracts. So
Okay, great.
I kind of grew with the job, James, and you know, at the end of the day, I think those skills that you go back to that you learn when you're young really help you evolve into the person that you are. You know,
They
the
serve
life
us well.
experiences.
Yeah,
They absolutely
yeah.
do. And I mean, that was at the end of the day. It was all about people. I mean, you know, when I was working for these large IT companies in the enterprise space, you were working with people. You were not just providing insight and selling solutions, you were helping people buy, right? So that was sort of where I kind of differentiated myself, and through my relationship building.
Really results focused, results oriented.
Yeah, it was very results oriented, and now the results, I mean, there was the corporate results and objectives, and then there were my results and objectives.
Okay.
So I had sort of two different lines that would go parallel to each other towards the end goal.
And are you achieving those personal goals now?
Yeah,
in
of course.
addition to like the business goals?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I think, I mean, if we're going to first of all talk about being, like from a personal perspective, I think really for myself, you know, I have this insatiable appetite for curiosity.
Okay.
I'm a curious guy.
Okay, and that doesn't get you in any trouble.
And it does not get me in any trouble at all. No, definitely not. So, you know, I take that insatiable appetite for curiosity and my love for people,
Yeah.
and it creates this mix of a really interesting experience, and through those experiences you gain these perspectives, and then through these perspectives you're able to share insight with others. And you know, you mentioned that we had done some work together, and it's been some really fun,
fantastic
work that we've done, and
Yeah.
and that kind of always brings you back full circle to doing good for others, right? Which is I would say one of my key missions in life is to give back. So, you know, I do that in a number of different ways. But I mean, you and I, we were fortunate enough to work together with the HYPE program at Centennial College.
Share with them what's HYPE.
And HYPE is an at-risk youth program for students who, or previous students or soon-to-be students who have been out of school for some time for various reasons, and they want to look to education to come back and get their lives back on track, and grow their network, learn different skills that are going to help them get jobs and so on and so forth. So it's a wonderful program.
It is.
And the students that were there, they were fantastic.
Such amazing kids.
They,
you know?
they really
and some
are.
of them really stepped up at the end there. Like
they did.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And I'm in
think,
touch with them actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I think you see their ambitions, and you see their life experiences that we're talking about here, that are going to really, maybe right now going down the wrong road, but at some point they're going to come back and they're going to see the light. And
it's interesting when they go down the wrong road, because some of them, they chose the wrong road just cause, and then other ones it's circumstantial.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and it's, you know, usually the ones that, you know, either get it that they were going down the wrong road, you know, they're kind of like, okay, well, maybe not, etc. Maybe they're not ready yet. But the ones that have had a circumstantial situation didn't allow them to go through school or a young pregnancy or whatever it may be, they're really grasping it fully. You know, and it's just in my own experience working with them, those are the ones that really take the bull by the horns and they make something of themselves with an opportunity when handed at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, that was my first experience with the HYPE program, and I was, after that for some time, I wanted to be a part of that, and I was happy to deliver you know, the professional development, and it's not.
Now, is that in other schools too, or is it just Centennial College?
This is just at Centennial College that it's
specific
offered,
to that,
and it's you know, through the HYPE program, so helping youth achieve or pursue education.
That's right.
And yeah, it's once a year that happens in the summer, and there's various subject areas where the students can get involved and just get back sort of on track to, you know, creating those healthy habits. And it's not necessarily all about the content, although the content's exciting. If you want to take business, if you want to take culinary arts,
and I know they have a great culinary school there too.
They do, yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, so this is a new chapter in my life.
But a good one.
Yeah, I've only been doing this for about
really
a year,
good one.
And it's very exciting.
Where do you see yourself expanding into that neck of the woods?
Yeah, so I mean, that's something that I've got to give some thought to. I know there's a lot of opportunities coming in the fall, and I'm going to pursue these opportunities. It's a healthy place to be. I have some other professional ends that I need to tie up before I could potentially go at that full force. So, you know, and that's something that maybe we can talk about in the next in the next spot. So, but
what I'd love to know is, you know, once in a while we get the question, you know, or we ask people, what would they say to themselves in a past life, or maybe, you know, when they were 5 or when they were 15, etc. And we were talking earlier about what you would say to yourself if you were talking to your future self. What would you tell your future self now?
Well, I would say I hope, Justin, that you are happy, healthy, and humble.
Humble. Isn't that a key word?
Yeah. I think if I could
humility.
Yeah, if I could really talk to myself in the future, that's probably what I'd say.
To remind yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know, everybody comes from different walks of life, and we all choose different paths. You know, but at the end of the day, we all are sort of looking for a purposeful life, and you know, it's a very small percentage of people that do actually find it, James. And
this is true. Yeah.
you know, I mean, we seem to be two of the lucky guys that have found what we love to do.
I call it purposeful development.
Purposeful development, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a constant development, right? I mean, you're myself, I'm involved in a number of different things. You know, my
I know your whole family is.
Yeah, my years in the tech space, you know, still in clean tech and in business development for renewable energy, and
I think we met at the United Nations. You know,
we met at the United Nations.
That's
yeah,
right.
And so there's some philanthropy as well too, and I'm a big advocate for people with disabilities. That's something that's near and dear to my heart, and I've been involved for over a decade now in that space, from you know, fundraising to program development to executive leadership. So yeah, it's a great place to be.
What's your favorite philanthropic initiative? Like, if you had to pick one, what would it be? If you could only pick one to focus on.
So if I could only pick one to focus on, it would be inclusion and diversity, and specifically inclusion and equity when it comes to people with disabilities, specifically Down syndrome. That's sort of a niche that's near and dear to my heart.
Cool.
So yeah.
Okay, I'll hold you to it.
All right, sounds good.
We're going to talk business right after this short commercial break with Justin Molloy. Stay tuned. We will be right back. And welcome back. This is the Dynamo Show. I am your host, James Erdt, and we are sitting here with Justin Molloy. Let's continue our conversation, my friend.
Sure.
I want to continue on the path of, you know, your career journey and working, especially with these kids. I know you're, you know, going to be working with the graduate students coming up this fall, and you know, they've gone through 2, 3, 4 years of X, and X, and they're about to face the world, right? Some of them going into corporate, but many of them, especially in this day and age with what's possible, are going into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So maybe let's talk a little bit about that. What kind of questions are they asking you?
Sure. Well, they're asking me a lot of questions. I mean, since I've been involved in a number of different startups in the emerging technology spaces, clean tech being one of them, and also software and application development. So that being said, they always want to know, how did you get here? What did you do? What are your skills? And so on and so forth. So, you know, when I put on my professor hat, I think first what I'll say to you is, you know, and to the graduate students and to the entrepreneurs that want to be entrepreneurs, or what's the other term that we use that when they want to become entrepreneurs?
Yeah, wantrepreneur.
Wantrepreneurs. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, same
okay.
thing, yeah.
So, the entrepreneurs that are moving forward with these ideas, I would say you need to first know how to wear a bunch of hats.
Yeah.
Right.
So resourcefulness.
You have to be resourceful. You have to be able to be creative in problem solving. You have to be excited about solving problems. There's an old saying too. You hear a lot of people talk about find your passion, find your calling, do what's, you know, what you're really passionate about. Well, I have a different take on that.
Okay.
So I say find something that interests you, that you'd like to learn more about, that you can tolerate, that will make you money. So because I think it's sort of not great advice to tell everybody to find like what they're super passionate about.
And the money will come.
Yeah, and the money will come, because I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I haven't seen that happen too much in the real world. But the other thing I'll share with my students is like to sort of have a real insatiable appetite to learn, and it's not to learn necessarily your program or finish your program, which is helpful, and you get your certificate or your degree and you move forward with that piece of paper, which a lot of employers like. But I think you have to have a real want to have an educational journey.
The ongoing education, you know?
You know, even later
Whether it's
on
crash
in your
courses or even reading, just books.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I love to read, and I mean, nowadays there's so much available to you. You don't necessarily have to go out and purchase a book. A lot of content's available online.
Yeah, free of charge.
Podcasts.
Yeah.
I know there's some really great motivational speakers that you can go and
Well,
you can
who
listen
inspires
to.
you? Are there any personal development gurus that inspire Justin?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I have some personal mentors that I've you know, worked with over the years. That's another thing that's important for the entrepreneurs, I think, you know, in the making, is to find someone that you can kind of talk to and you can bounce things off of them. And I mean, at the end of the day, you have lived experiences, and I'm gonna, you know, there's something that I think probably would be one of my greatest skills that I'd like to share with everybody. I have this appetite to learn something from you because you know something that I don't. And I'm curious to find out what that is.
I know that I know nothing.
Yeah. Well, we all know nothing, and
Yeah.
someone else knows something. And I
Right.
want to know what that is.
Yeah.
So, you know, be curious, be bold, and, you know, be relentless.
Yeah,
in
if you
your-
don't
in
ask,
your-
you don't receive.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't, right? And you have to, I think, have that drive. We talk about a lot of soft skills. I mean, there's hard skills in business and in entrepreneurship, but soft skills are the ones that, you know, I don't think are something that you can teach. There's something that are learned experiences.
Behaviors, yeah.
Behaviors,
Yeah.
habits. I mean, so, yeah, I think that's sort of what that
It was
looks
wild
like.
with the hype group. Wow, you know, I had offered a couple of the young ladies, you know, that had very, very powerful stories, like stories that could bring you to tears, to write and to get into creative writing and to actually write a book. And they both took me up on the offer.
Good.
And I'm pretty excited to work with them. But it's just it's so amazing to see the different walks of life that come together in a program like that, irrelevant of background or color of skin or what they've gone through in their lives. They've ended up in this particular group, and they were all really supportive of one another because they were relatable to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and they really, you know, were pushing each other forward and cheering each other on, and that's so cool. And I think it was more so with a group like that versus like the standard student that goes through grade 9 to 12, gets their thing with the graduates with their class. They just have so many more challenges in their life.
Well, I
know?
think too, though, and those are some really great skills that they have developed. Maybe not necessarily for the right reasons, but I see a lot of the soft skills there needed to move
the
forward.
hustling, the drive,
The relationship skills, the
sales.
persuasiveness.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So, and usually, you know, in the face of adversity, comes creativity.
Yes.
And creativity is super
especially when you're
important.
hungry.
If you're hungry and
You
you
don't have
wanna
a roof
eat,
over your head, right?
these are things. I mean, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy, I think, with our class, and you know, we looked at the highest level.
That's right.
And how many people really achieve that, and I think that really resonated with the students.
That's awesome.
So that was a good piece that we shared. You know, I'm excited to continue to provide this educational journey for my students. Not necessarily provide it, but to go through it with them.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much from them as well too.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I think there's a lot of opportunities in the future for entrepreneurs, as we're seeing right now currently, because you know, I think when you can take something, you can grow it, and you can own it, then you reap those rewards. And I think success, when we all talk about success, what does that look like?
What is success to Justin?
Well, like I said, I think talking to my future self kind of sums that up, right? To be happy, healthy, and humble. And I think maybe I'll throw one more H in there, and that's to have like a whole heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
nice full heart that's warm and open,
Loving.
and loving.
Love is the way.
And love is the way. And you know, I think when you look at a number of different entrepreneurs that are out there, you get to a certain point where you have the financial success, but now there's that next level, right? So you've got the financial success. Now what's next to complete that
legacy,
leave the legacy?
That's right.
And I think I would say, I'd like to leave a mark on each moment in time that I share with someone. That's the legacy that I want to leave.
I love it. Yeah, they remember your name. Who will cry when you die?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not about how much you have in your bank account. It's about
not.
What you've done for others. Whatever that is, that moment in time. Whether you held the door for that lady that was coming in with the groceries and the kids, and or just doing something very kind, like maybe
Random acts of kindness.
Yeah. Like paying it forward. And
now, if you were to share the top 3 tips as an entrepreneur to some of the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, what would you say?
Be curious, and be relentless in your quest for knowledge, and last but not least, ask great questions and listen. So
listen is important.
Listen
is important. What do they say? 2 ears, 1 mouth. The best salespeople are the best listeners.
Definitely.
Right? Like, how do you know what to sell unless you understand and know what they actually want?
Yeah. And see, I always so I've done sales for a long time before I got into these executive positions. And, still at the end of the day, we all sell ourselves. But what I look at is I like to help people buy. I like to help people solve problems. We once had a conversation, I think, about selling ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
And, I had said to you that I wouldn't sell ice to an Eskimo because they wouldn't need it.
That's right.
And therefore it wouldn't be profitable. So, I think, now maybe if there was some innovation going on with, clean water technology or something like that, we were able to freeze it, then that would be a different story. But yeah, that would be the advice I'd give to entrepreneurs. And don't give up, and be yourself, and fail, and learn from that experience, and continue to move forward again. And
some of the brightest people in the world have failed so many times.
Yeah, I think failure is it's probably one of the greatest educational degrees that you can ever receive.
That's it.
And you don't have to apply for OSAP for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. The School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks,
yes,
yeah.
It's been an honor to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you, James.
I'm sure we will run in similar circles.
Absolutely.
In the years to come. I am James Erdt. I'm sitting here with Justin Molloy, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.